good morning, good morning. Hello. Happy to see you, Miss Shana. How are you
I'm
doing
here.
today?
Great. How are you?
Good, good. Thanks for joining us. I don't know. We just have to stand.
Brought a sidekick with us too.
A sidekick? I don't think he's a sidekick. I think he's a main kick.
He is the main kick. He is the main kick, especially here right now. And his name is Logan.
Yep. So Logan's traveling with us, and we're super excited to have him here. And we are glad to be on a couple of different platforms today with YouTube, Twitch, and Twitter.
Yeah.
And I was talking with Logan. I was like, hey, Logan. And I was looking through it. And as I was out driving around, I was like, hey, we got a ding. And I was like, oh, new Twitch subscriber. So thanks for joining on Twitch all the time. It seems like every day you pick up one or two on Twitch. It's like, that's a really weird thing, but I guess it is a thing.
It's great. And we would love for, if you're on with us today, please chat in. We want to know who you are and where you're from.
We call that roll call, Shana.
Yes, roll call. So our agents are supposed to be chatting in so we know that they're present.
Yeah, we like when you guys are present, when you are doing those right things, when you are starting your day with TNT and getting just a little bit of learning in, because we try to cover good topics every single day, and I think we have that again for you today.
Yeah,
so the first
relevant
topic
to our business
is going to be divorcing couples. It unfortunately does happen, and we're going to talk about surprises that could cost you a deal. Ain't nobody got time for that. Second item is going to be insurance claims. And the seller must make the repairs if they get the money.
Oh, what if they don't?
Well, yeah. Just because you must doesn't mean that they do.
Right.
And then topic number 3, just because we want to have 3 if we can, is going to be realtor advice. If you're a realtor, here's advice. Vent to your spouse, not your client.
Or your fellow realtor.
Yeah.
Real estate family. I would keep it in the family.
Yeah, whoever it is, but probably not the client. So those are things that we have there. And then we're going to talk about escrow account is going to be the real estate word of the day.
All right.
But don't forget, right after this, we're going to have Show Me Your Listings with Shana. So you can be here and you can go over and you can show your listings.
See our peeps.
Very good. Okay. So those are the topics, and I think we're done. Shana. Hey, divorcing couples, we really don't want that, but sometimes it does happen. And in real estate, sometimes these problems that are going on can cost you a deal.
Yep.
So we want to talk about like the payoff. And what if we have some things going on? Like, how does everybody sign off? Like, what if people are getting along? What if they're not? What if things are changing? There's a lot of things that can be in flux super quick related to this in a real estate transaction. Nobody wants to go through this, but it does become a problem. Yep. What if there's some things that get paid afterwards, like an escrow holdback, like you have extra money? What if there's a shortage? What if there's all these different things? Who gets it? What happens? There's a lot to discuss here. Yeah. That's Shana Acquisto. She's a real estate broker by day and an amazing wife by night. And we are super happy to be discussing this topic with you. So let's go over insurance claims, Shana.
Nope, we're not talking about insurance claims yet.
Oh, we're talking about divorcing couples.
Yes. So I'm going to tell a little story because it's going to kind of tie into this. This was a real life example that I've had. And we have a couple that we've helped many times in the past. And unfortunately, they are getting divorced. Well, they got divorced last year. Okay. So I was named the realtor in the divorce. So we were going to sell last year and it didn't, they decided that that's not what was going to happen. In fact, the wife was just going to stay in the home with the kids and the husband was going to move out and the wife was going to pay off the spouse and he would be released from any obligations of the home.
Okay.
Okay. So.
Sounds straightforward.
What happened was they had a divorce decree, and then this was a side agreement that they had, like an amendment to the divorce decree.
Sounds dangerous right now.
Right? Got it put together, and it outlined all of these details. This is how much, the wife is going to pay the husband. It's going to be paid by this date, and then it'll be recorded, and he'll be released from all the obligations of the property.
Okay.
So what happened was she paid him, has proof of payment, and everything was good. So he never paid another dime after that. This was October 31st of last year. Fast forward, she decides she's going to sell. And this is a neighbor, had a friend, whatever, that wanted to live in the neighborhood. So it wasn't listed. We did not actually physically list it. But she decided, you know what, Shana, I think I'm going to go ahead and do this. So we proceeded, entered into a contract. Before we did, I did ask the following questions, just like you guys would. Let's find out what your payoff is, because if it doesn't net what you want, then we're not going to do this. So I said, don't guess, contact your mortgage company and find out what your true payoff is. Okay. She did, and we got that number. We went through, a few other things. Yep, all good, all good, all good. So a couple things happened. Well, she actually, when it come down to it, her payoff was different than what they told her. Why is that? I don't know. She had extra charges on there, I believe, from not paying taxes, right? And they somehow bunched that in there, and it seems like she did forbearance. So she put a pause. Yes, she put a pause on her payments. Okay. So she wasn't making those payments. Well, here's your payoff, but when they gave her the payoff, they didn't add those fees back in. So she had an additional $50,000 in fees.
So a payoff statement is supposed to include all those items.
But it didn't. So what you have to do is ask in the beginning, which I did not do, have you been in forbearance? Because I thought, getting your official payoff from the bank would outline all of these things.
So to me, I believe that that's a computer glitch on their part, on the bank's part, because the system never was intended to have this forbearance item, right? Like that was something that came up. So, when some people can create like this computer system, put it all together and have it so it spits this out, and it's automated, and all of a sudden this report comes out, I just don't think there was a column for anything like that. So then they generate this payoff that's like, hey, here's your official payoff.
Yeah.
And I'm not sure whom that lender is, nor do we necessarily need to name them right now.
It's a big bank.
But
a big bank.
It seems totally wrong to request a payoff and to not actually get the right number. Mm-hmm. But after all, that is an amount that is due. So your seller would know about it. Like that number just doesn't go away.
But
so make sure
in her eyes, she felt that if she got that official payoff, that had everything in it.
Oh, I would agree totally as well. So there's a bunch of problems.
That was one issue. So, we worked through that. And she says, okay, I'm still going to net this. I've got to pay it. Let's do it. Right? Okay. So we moved forward. Well, when the buyer got the inspection, there was some issues with the roof. Okay. I said, we have a roofer that we know and trust. We'll send him out. He went out and he's like, yep, you need to file an insurance claim. So she did. And when the adjuster came out, our roofer met him out there. And the adjuster said, that she already got paid on this roof 2 years ago. And, oops. So when I contacted her, she said, yeah, my ex-husband filed the claim. I didn't know anything. He handled that. So what I was told is that he received those proceeds and put them, I don't know, cashed them, whatever. But nonetheless, they did not make the repair. So they received the money, and that's on our seller's disclosure. Received the money, but didn't make the repairs.
So I think in that situation, I can't remember exactly how this goes, but I think you get a certain amount.
You do.
Of your money up front, and not all of it. And then when you make all of the repairs and you show and document that it's done, you get like an initial payment.
You do. Amount. And then there's some depreciation value that they give you in there. Well, so we were able to work through that with our roofer, and it was a little complicated.
Yeah.
But we were able to work through it. However, what she's not going to get is that depreciated value that she would have got 2 years ago. So moving forward, she's like, okay, I'm going to deal with this. I've got to pay this deductible, whatever, right?
So she deals with problem number 2.
Problem number 2.
Okay.
Okay. So, hallelujah. We got past all those obstacles. She has to find a place to move. Well, it's a struggle, right? She's looking to find a place. She has kids, her mom, and it's really a struggle. Well, her credit's dinged a little bit. Okay. So it's a crazy market out there. The rental market, completely crazier than I believe what our resale market is. But anyway, it's been a struggle. She was offering 6 months up front, like $1,000 over per month, still couldn't get something secured. People were either coming in above, or they were like, nah, I don't know about the credit, whatever. I mean, because her credit was not perfect. So it's very challenging out there. So, we're still working through that. We added time into, she's going to do a lease back. So the current buyers allowed her extra time to be able to find a place to move, which was very, very,
was nice.
very good. So the final walkthrough was Thursday.
Okay.
Thursday.
That's yesterday.
Didn't happen. On, I think it was Tuesday, we get a call from the title company saying, hey, so the ex-spouse has got to come in and sign off on some papers. Why? Well, I said, we have this agreement. She's like, yeah, but because the deed wasn't recorded, we need to know that this is still in play, right? And we just need him, because it wasn't recorded, we know it was notarized, and it was agreed upon. However, it wasn't recorded. So he needs to sign off on the deed. Okay. So that was really challenging, right? Why? So, of course, the wife is like, well, I don't want him to see what I'm netting here. I've been paying all these bills. I'm doing this. I don't think it's any of his business. Agreed. So I said, you know what? I know him. I'll call him and I'll let him know, that this is what you've decided to do, and I'll work with him to get it signed off on. She goes, that would be great. So it didn't go as planned. I called him and he said, not signing it. I said, no. He's like, no, I'll take 50% of whatever the net is, whatever she's getting. I said, what if she's not getting anything? He's like, well, then I'm not signing off on it.
What if she's paying?
Yeah. He's like, I'm not signing off on it then. So I said, okay, well, here's this agreement that you signed. You signed this agreement. It's been notarized. So you've already agreed upon this and you've been paid, right? Yep, been paid. I said, okay, so you need to sign off on this. Nope. I want half of whatever she's getting. I know the market's great. I know that she is going to be making money, and I want my half. And I said, how? I just don't see this happening because of this. He goes, well, if you look down here, it says, which clearly he's reached out and talked to somebody about it, right? She didn't record it. It said it must be paid and recorded by October 31st. He's like, she didn't fulfill the obligation. Even though I was paid, she didn't finish it. I've still been on the hook. What if she didn't pay? And what if I, got dinged on my credit because she got foreclosed and blah, blah. You see the problem here. So deal's off. I've tried to talk with him a few times, and he's like, Shana, I am not doing it. He's like, you don't know what I've gone through with her, and I am not signing off on this. So it's been a long back and forth, and deal's off. So you've got the current buyers who now they're left high and dry. So what are they going to do? Well, they're suing. So they're suing for specific performance, which they have the right to do. So I tried to talk to them and say, hey, with this lease back and all of this, I would suggest find them another home. Find them another home. You're going to get paid. Obviously, this is a mess. You're probably going to be able to get them into a home sooner than they would in this deal anyway, right? Well, they want to live. They want to live here. They want to live down the street from their family. So it is a mess, a huge, huge mess that we're working through. But the point of this is divorces are nasty. They may start off great, but there's a reason people are parting ways. So when you have a divorced situation, you need to do a little extra digging. You need to know the current situation, right? You need to look at the divorce decree. You need to look at all of any agreements thereafter and make sure they were recorded with the county. If they're not, they are not valid. So it's really crazy. The other point is, we're going to talk about that here in a minute, but you need to ask these questions. Are you sure that there's not, really to protect yourself is to find out, open title. Get a preliminary title work from the title company, and you're going to be able to see if there's anything.
That's a great piece of
going
advice
on.
right there.
Yeah.
To request a
So
title work.
that's going to show you what liens are out there and kind of what's going on. Maybe somebody has attached another, lien to the property because they haven't been paid. You just don't know. So order your title work in advance, order your HOA docs, do everything in advance. Ask who their insurance provider is. We should do that whether they're divorced or not. Who's their insurance provider? And reach out to them and just find out if there's been any claims filed.
Right?
A
lot of what you're just talking about there, Shana, are like realtor stories.
Mm-hmm.
And it's good to hear these, right? So the idea of telling all these different stories and giving examples and talking through things that have happened or are happening is so that maybe you have a different result as an agent. We want you to always have the best possible experience. And that's the reason that we share these things, so that you learn every single day. So there's 3 really good items within what you were just talking about that you must make sure that you do.
And maybe it's a little encouraging to know that no matter how long you've been doing this business, I mean, it's not easy. And this was a little thing that was missed, and it's very unfortunate. But you have to remain calm, and you have to work through this. Our job is to work through this for our clients, right? Not to get caught up in the drama, but to be like one step removed and be the calm force and try to handle it in the best way we can for everyone. You want to hold the deal together, so you want to, try to do that, but it's not always easy.
I do agree with that. So, Shana, we've been talking for a while on that same topic, and we do have we do have Show Me Your Listings coming up here in a little bit. So let's just go right to That's a Wrap. We're going to skip those other items and
Story time.
move on there.
Okay.
Yeah. Well, folks, that's a wrap for today. We skipped 2 topics and we skipped the word of the day. So I hope that works for you. But we did tell a lot of different realtor stories, so that you should be able to kind of learn from. There was a lot within what you just talked through. You talked about payoffs being a problem and forbearance and how that kind of ties in, and the fact that sometimes there are systems that aren't perfect with requesting a payoff, and you need to make sure that your client actually reviews it, make sure that they look at it, right? Sometimes you get a document, you have to read it and see what's going on there. So that's my tip, is to read what you actually get and then to do what you need to do.
Correct.
So in that example, the last one that you told, what it basically was is a person who has an agreement and they fulfilled part 1 of it, which is a major part, but they didn't do part 2.
Technicalities are real, and if it's not in writing, it didn't happen, and if you don't fulfill every detail of it, that's why details are important, right? Follow through.
Yep. So read items, complete them, and knock them all off and get them done. And the reason people are getting divorced is because things don't kind of work out between them, and there's often 2 sides to each story.
Yep.
And there's a lot with it, ladies and gentlemen. It is difficult. So if you're in any of those, make sure that you are on high alert because things do happen and it does get testy.
Yeah.
So that's all we have for today. We're going to get out of here and say goodbye.
Bye.
All right, you ready, Shana? Okay, let's throw a word up there and then we'll be done, Omkar.
What's a hammer?
All right, thank you very much. I'll see you on Monday. And let's move the other two topics that we had to Monday, and we'll get rid of that one, and then we'll be good. And we should